Hey YouTube. Alright, so it's Tuesday. Got off work a little early today, so I'm over here at my storage working on this thing. So I got this scraper from my mom, and it's not really sharp, like I just wire wheeled it. It's not really like a razor blade, it's just a piece of metal. But man, dude, it works so good for scraping off all that old timing cover gasket. So I got all that off there, and I just used a rag, and I was just wiping off all that old gunked up oil and crap from the previous owners not changing the oil like they should have. So there's just a bunch of nasty gunk all over, so I'm just cleaning all this up. I had to pull the little guard back off so I can clean behind it, but overall it's going pretty good. So once I get this all cleaned up, I'm gonna wire wheel all this, try to get all this gunk off. So I didn't get any brake cleaner or anything, so I'm just doing this by hand today, y'all. So I got the wire wheel on the drill, and I got a whole thing of red rags in the back seat, and I got the impact and some sockets, and I mean I've got all my shit in here, but so I'm gonna try to keep this thing as clean as possible. I'm probably gonna take a couple clean red rags and just shove in the front and rear cam bearings slots, just so I don't get no crap and debris inside. I mean, it's gonna get cleaned out anyways, but I want to keep as little bit of shit in there as possible. So, and with a wire wheel, it could swing a piece of wire in there and not see it, and that could cause a lot of trouble for an engine. So, but I'm gonna go ahead and get this thing, keep cleaning this thing up. I only got like an hour and a half to work on this thing today, so y'all stay tuned. I'll keep you guys updated. Alright, you guys, so after about 20 minutes or so of working on this thing, I got it pretty cleaned up, about as best I'm going to get it. I mean, I could probably get a little better in here, but I'm going to have to use some brake cleaner or something, degreaser and a brush or something to get that out of there, because I just can't get the rag in there very well. But I mean, other than that, the whole face of it looks good. I got most of the rust off, so I mean, it's looking really nice. And then there was a bunch of old oil and gunk in both of these little block offs and down in here, and I got all that out as best I could with some rags. And in this hole and this hole, and then I got all the shit off of the crankshaft, so it's not just everything on there. I did block off the front and the rear with some red rags, just like that, and it's turned out pretty good so far. So I still got to do the head mounting surfaces, and I still got to clean up the inside. As you can see, all that gunk. It's gonna take forever, but probably not gonna get all of it done today. But I am gonna work on these head gasket surfaces and just make sure those are all nice and cleaned up, and make sure the cylinders still look good. They look pretty good from here. A little bit of corrosion in there starting from just sitting out, being open. But yeah, I've got to get all this cleaned up. So y'all stay tuned. I'll keep you guys updated. Alright, y'all, so I've got the front all cleaned up. I've got cylinders 1 and 3 nice and clean. All the pistons looking good. Got all the shit off of it, all the carbon buildup, and I mean, you can see what it did look like. So I got 2 down and 4 more to go. Probably not going to get all 6 of them done today, because me and the family have plans. But I just want to get over here and at least do some of this and get something done, because it was such a nice day. Like, it's still a beautiful day. But just want to show you guys the progress as I go. So y'all stay tuned. I'll keep you guys updated. Alright, here's 1, 3, and 5. Look at the cylinders. Cylinders are all looking good. No marks. There's still a little bit of crap in there. I've been trying to get it all out. But cylinders look good. These pistons cleaned up nice. So all the cylinders looking good. So there's the front. Now I just got to get the rear. But works. Oh, and the oil galley, lifter galley. Yeah, I gotta get all that cleaned out too. That's just nasty, gunked. And then I still gotta do this side. So cylinders look good, but then pistons just so much carbon buildup. So I'm gonna get this all cleaned up, and I'll keep you guys updated. Stay tuned. Okay, guys. So this is where I'm stopping at for today. So I've got the front three nice and clean. Got the timing cover surface all nice and clean. All the gasket off. I got the tops cleaned off. I wiped down all of the lifter valley and got all that old gunky oil out of all these corners and crevices. Still a little bit more in that one right there, but I tried to get all of them as clean as I could with just using rags. And also here where the rockers bolt down to, or the lifter guides bolt down to. But yeah, I mean, I've got pretty much the front side, the actual timing cover surface, all the lifter valley, and then I just have to do the rear. So I still got to do the 3 rear pistons and this rear head surface. And then I still have to wire wheel the rear side of the block and get all this rust and nastiness and caked on dirt and all this over here all off and get all that cleaned up. But pretty much the front's all done and the front side of the block. And then I still also have to do wire wheel the bottom and get all this old RTV off of here and out of the corners where the pan goes. Yeah, see, that one still got quite a bit right there. So yeah, I just gotta make sure I get all this old shit off and nice and clean. I gotta pull this pickup tube off and clean up that gasket because I've got a new gasket and I'm going to use a different pickup tube. So I have another one, so I'm going to use the other one that I have. But yeah, I mean, everything's starting to look good. And then once I get this off the block, I got to clean up this rear gasket area, which it had the metal gasket on it, so it should pretty much just be a wipe. And pretty much like I did the front, I didn't have to wire wheel a shit ton. So yeah, the rear will probably clean up pretty well, and then I can get the new rear gasket and the rear cover on with that new rear main seal, and then I can start getting this thing all slapped back together. And I mean, I'm still going to take my time with it because I don't want to rush anything, and I want to do everything right and correctly and do it once and do it right the first time. So yeah, that's going to be it for this video, guys. So y'all stay tuned, and I'll catch you guys on the next one here in the next couple days. So y'all have a good night. Stay tuned. Like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Alright, you guys. So it's Thursday. It's the 30th. December 30th. So I just got off work. It's about 3:30 or 4 o'clock, somewhere in there. And I just got over here to my storage and got this engine back out. I went ahead and kind of just put a bunch of rags in the lifter galley, so that way I don't have to worry about getting a bunch of shit in the lifter area and down in the other cylinders on the front side. So I'm going to go ahead and start wire wheeling this rear side and all this back here. Try to get this all nice and cleaned up just like I did the front side, and go from there. So y'all stay tuned. I'll keep you guys updated. Alright, you guys, so I've got the front, which I had done the other day. Cylinder walls are all still looking good. Feels nice and smooth. Now I've got the rears all done. Cylinder walls still look good. Feel nice and smooth. So now we got everything cleaned up. Got the rear cleaned up. I need to take this off, this little heat shield, so I can wire wheel behind it and probably pull the rear knock sensor off, just so I can wire wheel all this and get behind it. And then I have one of these heat shields that I painted red, so I'm going to put that on here. And then I got to pull this oil pickup tube. It's got shit all over it right now. So, but yeah, that's going to come off. I need to flip this engine upside down so I can get all that all nice and cleaned out. And this thing's just about ready to start going back together. So, y'all stay tuned. I'll keep you guys updated. Alright, y'all. So, got the engine turned sideways. Let it drain out that old coolant and shit that was in the filling the block. So, like I said, I've got the rear side. This is the front side, but I've got the rear side mostly wire wheeled. I just got to take off that heat shield. I pulled off the oil pickup tube. You can just see how nasty and gunky it is. This shit's nasty, disgusting. So, but I'm just working on getting this old gasket off right now. I've been scraping the shit out of it with a razor blade and the scraper, and it was working okay. And then you can also see like how I wipe this main cap down, and then you can just see how dirty and gunky that one is. I can just wipe it off clean. That's just old oil and gunk. Look at that. This comes right off. Whole inside of the engine's caked. So, but it's getting there. It's cleaning up pretty decently, so I'm just gonna give everything a nice little wipe down, try to get all the buildup of gunk off of everything, this little layer, as best as I can, and then go from there. So I've got this side wire wheeled, and then I gotta finish scraping all the rest of this gasket material off so I can wire wheel that. Then I gotta wire wheel this side and get all this old RTV off, and at the same time just trying to make sure that I don't get anything up in the rotating assembly. And so I'm watching which way the wire wheel's rotating. So like since this is spinning forward, it was spinning like this, so I was having it to where it's pushing everything away as I'm wire wheeling. So it's pushing everything down here instead of up this way. This is going to be the hardest part of it. I don't really know how I'm going to get that without getting shit in there. So, but yeah, this one I'll just swivel the engine the other way, and so it'll be down like this, and then I'll shoot it down also, and I'll get all that all cleaned up. And then after this is all cleaned up, like, I mean, it's really in decent, you know, the paint or powder coat, whatever it is, like, it's decent. So I don't think I'm going to repaint the whole block. I think I'm just going to leave it and just start assembling it. But one thing I do have to do before I can really do anything else, like, I got to get the cam in and stuff, but then I still have to have the heads machined. So I don't know if I even want to start building this yet. I mean, I guess I can. But I don't know, I'll figure that out afterwards. Right now I just want to get this thing cleaned up all the way. So y'all stay tuned, I'll keep you guys updated as I go. Alright, you guys, so I've got everything all nice and wiped down in here. I've got most of that oil gunk out of here. We're just wiping it down with rags. No cleaner, no brake cleaner, no degreaser, nothing, just wiping it down. And then of course wire wheeling everything else. But everything's looking really good. So it's just about time to start putting this thing back together. Not gonna do any of that today. I just wanted to come over here and get this thing pretty much all stripped down and ready to go. I did get that old gasket for the oil pickup tube off and cleaned up the bolts a little bit. I gotta get some Loctite thread locker so I can, whenever I put that back on, I don't have any issues with the bolts backing out. I have not touched any of the bottom end bolts. I haven't touched any of the rod bolts or any of the main bolts. Nothing. So the only thing that I've messed with is, like, I took the pan off and the oil pickup tube, but that's the only thing I've messed with under here. So yeah, I'm very happy with the progress. It's much cleaner than what it was. I try to wipe up everything. I mean, you can kind of see there's still some down in the crevices. It's hard to get to with just some red rags, you know, but I'm happy with it. So y'all stay tuned and I will keep you guys updated as I make more progress on this thing. Hey YouTube, alright, so it is Monday, January 3rd, and I'm over here at the Grand Am storage with the Grand Am. So I talked to a machine shop today. They told me to bring by the flywheel so I can get it machined, and then they also told me that doing on the heads for the 07, said it's gonna be around 180, 200 bucks to machine and do the valve guides and valve seats on the heads. So I just got the flywheel and set it in the front seat. So now I've got to run over to the 07 pre-storage and grab the set of heads so I can run over here to this machine shop before they close at 5 o'clock and go talk to them and let them take a look at the heads and this flywheel and see what we can come up with on a price. So y'all stay tuned and I will keep you guys updated as soon as I make it over to the machine shop. Alright y'all, so I've got the heads for the 07 loaded up. And I've already got the valve springs and all that on, which they're going to have to probably pull all that back off. But it's all good. I just want to go have these cleaned up and just make sure everything's good to go with them. So I got them loaded up. I'm about to head over to the machine shop, and that way we can figure out a price and figure out exactly what needs to be done for it. So you guys stay tuned and I'll keep you guys updated. You guys, so I just dropped off the heads and the flywheel at USA Machine Shop. So he said give him a few days, so I'm going to come back on Friday, check out the progress, see how it's going. So it's coming along, so you guys stay tuned and I'll keep you guys updated. Hey YouTube, alright, so it is Tuesday, the next day. Had a long ass fucking day at work. So yesterday, I come by and I grabbed the flywheel, and then I went over to the other storage with the pre, and I grabbed the heads that I already had, the 150 pound valve springs, and the modified retainers and valve locks. And so I've got all of that, and I went and dropped it off at the machine shop. So I'm going to go back on Friday, and they're going to pull all three of the dowel pins out of the flywheel. They're going to machine it 330 thousandths. It's going to be like $100. And so that's for the flywheel. And then for the heads, he said 280 to machine 50 thousandths off of all of the top of the valve guides. And then he's also going to do a valve job, complete valve job, so new valve seats and all that. He's going to clean them all up, cut it, measure everything. He's got the springs and the valve locks and the retainers and all that already assembled on the heads. I do have to take him another set of the valve seals because he's going to have to pull those off, and he said it's probably going to mess him up. So I just told him, you know, no worries. I have 2 more new sets, so I've got to take them another set probably tomorrow because they close at 5 and it's already like almost 6. So yeah, I'm gonna grab that other set of valve seals, that way I have them, unless they might already even be at the house in the 06. But so I did just run over to the other storage just a minute ago, and I grabbed all the belts, and I grabbed the alternator in this bracket because I do end up swapping this around on here. And then just for something else, just so I have something to do. I grabbed all of the pistons and rods and wrapped them all up, and the other set of pistons, the old pistons out of that engine, the ones where all the rings were like stuck in the pistons, and so I'm going to clean all those up and get all those old rings out. And then these are the actual pistons and rods out of the original engine out of the 07, and one of them chipped a piston, cylinder 3, so I'm going to swap all the pistons around and get them all cleaned up and looking good. And then that way I can put these pistons and rods with the good pistons and the rings that are on the pistons now, or I might even just get a new set of rings. But I'm going to take all those and put them back into the engine block, because it's a good block. And then I've also got to clean up the Kinetic metal head gaskets for the 07. So I got 4 cans of brake cleaner, so I can get those cleaned up. So I just grabbed some stuff to keep me busy over at the house, because my girl and my stepdaughter, they got plans tonight, so they're going to do mommy-daughter time. So it gives me a little bit of time tonight to do some stuff. So also I'm probably going to either grab, I don't know, I might leave that one in the Grand Am, but I'm probably going to grab this power steering pump that's on the Grand Am engine. And I think it's just one bolt holding it on right now anyways. I don't think the bottom bolt's even in there. But I need to grab that pump, because the pump that's on the 97 is just whining like a motherfucker, and it's getting super annoying. So I'm just going to grab this pump and swap the pump. It's pretty easy. So, and since I'm going to have that alternator bracket off and everything, it'll be really easy to get to and just swap everything around, right, as I'm swapping all that. I mean, as you can tell, it's literally right here, and if this is going to be off, it's going to give me direct access to the pump if I'm taking all this off, this whole bracket. So no big deal. So yeah, I think this is just a 13 that's on here, so I'm just going to grab a 13 socket and the impact and zip that off real quick, and then I'm just going to toss that in the trunk, and then I'm probably going to head back over to the house. So y'all stay tuned and I'll keep you guys updated. Alright y'all, so I got the pump off. It actually did have 2 bolts in it, so either way, I got the pump off. So that was it, just 2 minutes, super easy. So yeah, now I'm about to close this thing down and head to the house, and I'll catch you guys over at the house. Hey YouTube. Alright, so I'm over here at the 07 Grand Prix storage. It's Wednesday, so I pulled everything out. I got over here and the front tire was flat, so I jacked it up and pulled the wheel off, and then started airing up the tire, and I could hear it hissing. And sure enough, the sensor has this little aluminum cap that screws on right there, because it's a sensor. And whenever I went and had these brand new tires put on, I had them swap out the one, because it had a sensor in this wheel, but this is the sensor that was already programmed with the car. So I just had them swap out the sensor, and I guess they didn't tighten the cap down all the way, because I got like 4.5, 5 turns on it and got it nice and snug, and now it's not hissing or leaking, so that's good. So I got that bolted back on, it's good. And then I pulled out the Arp Head Studs for the engine, and I got all the old RTV and everything cleaned off of them, just wire wheeled them all. So now I've got all the head studs are nice and cleaned up, and they're pretty much ready to go in the block whenever I'm ready to assemble it. On my lunch break today, I went by the machine shop and I dropped off another set of valve seals for the heads. So now he's got another brand new set of valve seals, just in case one of those gets damaged when he pulls it apart to machine the heads. Then there's a brand new set right there. I told him just throw the new set on, even if the other ones are okay, throw the new set on. So that way I know everything's good and correct, and everything should be good to go. Another thing, I got the Kinetic head gaskets. I need to clean those up and get all little grit and sand and grease chunks and shit out between the layers. So I need to get like a tote or something so I can kind of let those soak in like some brake cleaner, and also the washers and the actual nuts for the Arp head studs. I want to get all that nice and cleaned up and get the paint off and everything. And then I was kind of debating on if I wanted to throw this cam in, like I want to, and I kind of want to wait until I have the heads back. That way, once I throw it in, I can completely seal up the engine and get the oil pan and all that on. And then I was gonna unwrap this today and put the oil pickup tube on, but I don't have the gasket here. It's in the back seat of the 06 with like where the other valve seals were. I grabbed the valve seals so I could go drop them off at the machine shop, and I completely forgot about the gasket for the oil pickup tube. So I'm not even going to unwrap it today. I'm just going to let it sit. I did get the other oil pickup tube all nice and cleaned up and brake cleaned, and ran a rag all the way down in there and back out, and brake cleaned it out again, and brake cleaned it till I didn't see no brown oily gunk coming out. So should be pretty cleaned out. So yeah, now I just got to get the gasket, so I can get that put on, and then I can throw the oil pan on with the new oil pan gasket, and then that whole bottom end should be good and ready to go. Then it'll just be throwing the cam in, and the cover, and the timing set, and then the water pump timing cover, and shit, it's game over from there pretty much. And then once I get the heads back, I can get the heads on there and it'll start looking like an engine again. But I'm really happy with how much it cleaned up and how good it looks. So I'm gonna keep working on these. I'm probably gonna take these home, the head gasket, so I can soak them in get a tote and let them soak. I did take home the supercharged rods and pistons that came out of the original block with the chip piston, and I disassembled them. And whenever I was knocking the wrist pins free to pull the rods out, one of them, I was dumb and set it on the ground, and it bent the piston a little bit and smashed the piston rings in there. So that one got fucked. So I just said, fuck it. I'm changing all the pistons anyways, whatever. And so then on the NA pistons, the original ones out of the other engine that are in the box, they're NA, and the wrist pins aren't as big around as the supercharged ones. So these won't work with those pistons. So right now this block's still just kind of sitting on the side. It has good rods, and I put all the new rod bearings in and got all that cleaned up. So all the new rod bearings are on the rods. And so yeah, now I'm gonna, for this engine, I'll have to order another set of supercharged pistons with the wrist pins. And so I'm just like, not worried about that right now. That's just extra thing I was doing on the side. This is the main engine. So another thing I need to do is, since I have this up on jack stands, I want to drop this transmission pan, and that way I'll have this pan for the 97, because it's still got that big hole dripping, leaking fluid. So I can at least swap out this pan and get a good pan on it. And then since I'll have this pan off, I'll be able to pull the valve body and do the shift kit and all that. So that's something I need to get done. And yeah, and then I just kind of need to move this transmission back over here to the side, since I've got all this done and this back on. And yeah, so I just need to move the tranny back over there, and probably just scoot this engine on the bucket back over there. And jack will go back in the car with all the tools. But making a lot of progress, so y'all stay tuned and I'll keep you guys updated as soon as I figure something else out. Alright y'all, so Got the engine turned sideways, let it drain out that old coolant and shit that was in the filling the block. So, like I said, I've got the rear side. This is the front side, but I've got the rear side mostly wire wheeled. I just got to take off that heat shield. I pulled off the oil pickup tube. You can just see how nasty and gunky it is. This shit's nasty, disgusting. So, but I'm just working on getting this old gasket off right now. I've been scraping the shit out of it with a razor blade and the scraper, and it was working okay. And then you can also see like how I wiped this main cap down, and then you can just see how dirty and gunky that one is. I can just wipe it off clean. That's just old oil and gunk. Look at that. This comes right off. Whole inside of the engine's caked. So, but it's getting there. It's cleaning up pretty decently, so I'm just gonna give everything a nice little wipe down, try to get all the buildup of gunk off of everything, this little layer, as best as I can, and then go from there. So I've got this side wire wheeled, and then I gotta finish scraping all the rest of this gasket material off so I can wire wheel that. Then I gotta wire wheel this side and get all this old RTV off, and at the same time just trying to make sure that I don't get anything up in the rotating assembly. And so I'm watching which way the wire wheel's rotating. So like since this is spinning forward, it was spinning like this, so I was having it to where it's pushing everything away as I'm wire wheeling. So it's pushing everything down here instead of up this way. This is going to be the hardest part of it. I don't really know how I'm going to get that without getting shit in there, so. Hey YouTube. Alright, so it's Saturday, January 8th. It's about 11 a.m. or so. I just got over here to the 07 Grand Prix storage. And so I'm about to move some of this shit, get this engine out, get it unwrapped. And I'm going to start getting this bottom end put on. I brought the gasket so I can get the oil pickup tube on. And I got the new oil pan gasket, so I get the painted up oil pan on. And hopefully I'm going to be able to get the cam installed today. And I don't know, I only have a couple hours. I got to be back at the house because my girl has to go to work. So I don't have a super long time. But I'm going to go ahead and get this stuff out of the way and get this engine out, get it unwrapped. And that way I can start getting this thing put together. So y'all stay tuned and I'll keep you guys updated. Alright you guys, well I had the wrong, like the gaskets I had in there that I thought was the oil pickup tube gasket was too big, so it's not the oil pickup tube. So I'm going to run over here to the Grand Dam storage and see if I have a gasket, and if not I'm going to have to put all this back up and go to AutoZone. So I'm going to run over here to the other storage and see what I got over there, and I'll keep you guys updated. Yeah, well, I just got back from the other storage and I didn't have anything over there, just some injector O-rings and some exhaust manifold gaskets, which I always just reuse the metal factory gaskets. So looks like I'm gonna have to pick all this back up and head to AutoZone. Also, yesterday I went by Harbor Freight and I picked me up a new little welder. It's like 180 bucks with the roll of wire and all. So now I've got me a little welder I can experiment doing some welding on. And then my girl, for Christmas, she got me this foldable creeper. So I brought that so I could use that, and I'm not even going to use it right now because now I got to pick all this shit back up. So I guess I'm going to grab this plastic and wrap this engine back up and get it back in here and run up to AutoZone. So I'll holler at you guys whenever I make it back from AutoZone. Alright YouTube, so I made it back over here to the storage. I went to 2 AutoZones, went to Advanced Auto Parts, and to O'Reilly's. And none of them have the gasket in stock. And Advanced, they have it in their system, but they said that none of the stores have it and they can't even order it anymore. So I just got on eBay and ordered one for $8. It's going to be here between the 14th and the 20th. So I got like a week to a week and a half until it gets here, because today's only the 8th. So it is what it is. I'm just going to have to wait for the gasket to come in. So as soon as it gets here, I can come get the oil pickup tube put on and get the oil pan with the new gasket on, which is in the brown box under there. And then the bottom end will be together, and then I can throw the cam in and the head studs and start building up from there. Get the timing set on, all that. So that's not going to be able to do anything today, so it kind of sucks. So this was all the stuff off the 06, so I just brought it over here and just set it on this old engine block. That's the original block out of the 07, and the one that had the chip piston, I took all the pistons out. So right now the heads are just set on there. I got one head bolt in each head, just holding them on, and then the lower intake and the supercharger just sitting on there. I actually set everything on there backwards since the crank is facing this way. All that should be swapped around, but like I said, I just needed to get it out of the shed and make room. I had it in the trunk of the 97. So I cleaned all that out. So now what I decided to do, since I have to go home so my girl can go to work, so I grabbed my rear exhaust manifold. That is good. It has threads on both. And then I've got the power steering pump and the alternator bracket with the other style alternator with the coolant elbows. And so I'm going to go home, and while my girl's at work, I'm going to be in the driveway working on the 97. And I'm going to swap all this stuff around so that way I don't have no exhaust leaks anymore. I'm going to try to swap my pulleys and make it to where the belt's not almost touching. The supercharger belt isn't touching and wearing the supercharger belt off. So I'm going to try to make everything correct how it's supposed to be. So that's what I'm going to end up doing today. So you guys stay tuned, and I'll holler at you guys whenever I get back over to the house. Hey YouTube. Alright, so I made it back over to the house, and I was letting the 97 cool down. So I popped the hood, I was letting it cool off, so I can get in here and tear it apart. It's cooled off now. Now there's no pressure in the cooling system. It's pretty cool to the touch. So I'm about to start tearing that apart here shortly. But, so while I was waiting, I decided to pull the welder out. And I opened it up. I wanted to test it. So I got this old piece of exhaust. And I cut a slit in it with the Sawzall. And I mean, for wire wheeling it, like, it still has rust on the metal. I mean, it's not perfectly clean, but I mean, it did somewhat kind of seal it up. It looks like shit. I mean, it's only my second time ever welding here, so, and the first time was with the exact same welder, just it was my buddy Austin's, and those welds look like shit too. So I got in the shed looking for metal, and the only thing I had was this old cam that this was out of the engine, out of the 06, that I did the top swap with the 130,000 mile engine block, and I threw that, deleted a piston, and yeah, it scarred up this cam, so it was just sitting in the scrap bin, all of this, and that's why it's all rusted. And but yeah, so I just kind of wire wheeled it and welded this end on, and it didn't stick in all the spots that I tried to weld it to, but I mean, it's stuck on there, it don't come off. And then I stood it up like this and kind of centered this on here. And I've got my big old clamps, so I took and clamped this on to that cam lobe like that, and had that clamped down and welded the top on. Now the top don't come off either, it's already cooled down. So but yeah, just kind of fucking around and testing this thing out. The wire speed's on like 2, which is perfect. It's on minimum because I'm on an extension cord, and a pretty long one at that. It's like a 12 or 15 foot surge protector. It's like a $50 surge protector, but it's all metal, prime, good surge protector. So I've got that run up into the house, and then got the welder ran on that, so it's on minimum return. But the thing works pretty good. I like it. So it came with this Ghetto little handheld mask. It's dark as shit. Can't see nothing. Barely. And I did pick up an extra roll of wire. It came with 1 extra tip and this little wire brush. And then I have this for knocking off the dingleberries and shit whenever you're welding. So I have a few things for this. Not a lot, but I'm really happy with it. For 150 bucks for the welder and 20 bucks for the extra roll of wire, it was $182 or something like that, out the door, tax and all, with a 1-year warranty. So not too bad, Harbor Freight. I dig it. So this is my new little toy I get to play with, because I definitely want to do some welding on some exhaust. I want to test out some welding on the 06 on that exhaust that's on there, see if I can fix that up and be able to actually use that exhaust and just hook up the downpipe and shit to it. Or you know, on the Grand Am, where since I'm going to the 3/8 swapping it, then where the resonator is, it has a 3-bolt flange instead of a 2-bolt flange like on the 3800s, all the W bodies. And right at that resonator, it has a 2-bolt flange that's like slightly turned one way, so it's not perfectly straight across. And so I have a brand new flange that came off of that brand new, off this brand new cat whenever I replaced this whole cat and down pipe on the 06 originally, and it had an exhaust leak. So right here, there's normally a 2-bolt flange, but the guy at the exhaust shop, he just cut the brand new 2-bolt flange off of the new downpipe and catalytic converter and just put that little slit piece on and welded it to the resonator right there. So I kept the brand new 2-bolt flange so that I have it for the Grand Am. And so I've already cut the original 3-bolt flange off the Grand Am. And so once I get the engine put back in and get the mounts all set, and I know exactly where the downpipe's going to be and how far it needs to extend or not, then I can cut off more if I need to, or if it's perfect, then I can just put the flange on, weld it on, like we'll bolt it on to the downpipe first, and then set it up in place so I know it's in the exact right spot it needs to go. Then tack it in, take the bolts out, probably drop the whole exhaust down, fully weld it all the way around. And so before I get to that point, I want to get some practice in. So I've got to test this thing out with how that's welding on that rust. I know I'm going to have to probably use a grinder and definitely get that metal down to bare metal and not half-ass rusted with just a wire wheel like that. So I know that's definitely not going to work. I'm going to have to use a grinder, which is okay. It's a learning experience. So, but yeah, I guess right now I'm going to pick all this stuff up, and that way I can start tearing apart, so I can do this power steering pump and that alternator and bracket with the coolant elbows. And then if I get to it, I might do that rear exhaust manifold, but I'm not sure if I even want to fuck with that today or not. But no worries. So, yeah, let me get all this stuff picked up, and I'll catch you guys here shortly. So y'all stay tuned. Hey YouTube. Alright, it's Monday. I'm over here at the Pontiac Grand Prix. So, on Friday, whenever I was over here, I didn't have the right gasket for the pickup tube. So I went to like 5 different part stores. No one has it in stock. Can't order it. So I ordered it on eBay. So it's not going to be here until like the 20th or 21st or something like that. So I've got like 9 or 10 days. I just have to wait for it to come in. So can't really do anything on putting the engine together. Like I said, I don't want to put the cam in until I have the oil pan and all that on. And I can't get the oil pan on until I get the pickup tube on. So I'm kind of at a standstill on the engine for now. So what I decided is today I'm going to drop the pan on the transmission and go ahead and do the shift kit and get the new pan and new filter and pan gasket on. And that's the pan with the drain plug in it. And then I'm going to use this pan for the 97 since it has a big hole in it. So right now I'm going to get up under here. I got my nice new creeper my girl got me for Christmas. So I'm going to roll up under here. I'm going to get my drain pan over there emptied out and get it under here and start getting these bolts out so I can get this fluid out because it's still full of fluid. So I'm going to get under here and start draining this thing and get this pan off, and I'll give you guys an update once I'm about to have the pan off. So y'all stay tuned. Alright guys, so I've got my pan all brake cleaned out. It had a little crack in it, so I put some RTV on it. I'm going to dry for a few minutes. But other than that drying, the pan's clean. I'm ready to get it under here and catch this fluid. So I might be able to reuse the fluid, I might not. I have like 1.5 brand new jugs of trans fluid in the trunk of the 06 over at the house that I bought actually to do my girl's transmission stuff, her filter and pan gasket. And she's just been bullshitting on it, so. But I mean, as you can see, the fluid still looks nice and red. I don't even know where the fuck it's leaking from, but it's leaking, so. Yeah, I'm going to drop this pan and get this drain pan under here to catch the fluid, get this pan off, so I can make some progress. So y'all stay tuned and I'll keep you guys updated. Alright you guys, so I've got like I don't know, like 8 bolts out so far, and I've got 2 or 3 over there loosened up that's not out yet. And it's been dripping pretty good. It's just slowly dripping like this. I don't want to spill anything. Nothing spilt on the floor yet, except for what was already dripping previously. But, yeah, making some progress. So, I'm just going to keep letting this drip so I don't make a huge mess all over the place. Because evidently this is the only drain pan I have here. I guess the other ones are at the house. So, it is what it is. But, yeah, I'm slowly making some progress. So I will, come back to you guys once I have this thing drained and the pan off. So, y'all stay tuned and I'll get back to you guys. Alright guys, so I went over to the Grand Am storage and I had another pan over there. So I grabbed it, got it all nice and cleaned out and wiped out. So now I'm about to start pulling some more of these bolts out now that I have another pan to catch some of the fluid. So, but it's going pretty good so far. So the fluid it's coming out, it's looking pretty red still, so maybe I can actually reuse some of this fluid. So but yeah, y'all stay tuned. I'll update you guys again once I get this pan off. Hey YouTube. Okay, so this thing's still dripping. Haven't got the pan off yet. I got some more bolts out and it just started pouring. And I filled up that whole pan, the first pan. So I swapped out the pans and pulled that one out, filled up that whole 5-quart jug. It's a 1-gallon jug, but filled it all the way up to the top. Spilled just a little bit on the ground. So And I'm about to pull the rest of these bolts out of here because now it's just barely to a drip. So I'm going to pull the rest of those bolts out, and that should be almost all the fluid that's in there. There'll probably be a couple more quarts. But I have one more empty transmission fluid jug back there in the back, and an empty oil jug. So, yeah, just got to get the rest of these bolts out, and we'll be good to go. So, y'all stay tuned. I'll keep you guys updated. Alright, you guys, I've got the pan off. We've got the, just clean everything up. I'm probably about to brake clean all this out. And then once I get it all nice and brake clean, I mean, it's pretty clean in here compared to the one that went into the 06. It was dirty as fuck. This one's, I mean, I've already done a fluid and filter and pan gasket and everything and cleaned it out whenever I first got this, before it went in here with the original engine. I think that's a little casting defect. I thought it was cracked for a minute, but I think it's just casting. But yeah, man, I'm super happy with how it's coming out so far. So I'm about to brake clean this out, and once it's all brake cleaned out, I'm gonna undo this little pump and this valve body. I need this valve body off so I can do the shift kit, transfer shift kit over there. And the gasket is reusable, so no need to worry about a gasket. And I'm pretty sure these are all 8mm. There's like 8 or 10 of them or something like that. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There's 11 of them, 8mm. So got to pull those off. Be very careful not to fuck up these lines or bend them or break them. So I'm probably just going to pull off the pump over there with it, or the servo, and just pull it all off in one piece. That way I ain't got to worry about breaking the tubes, and go from there. So yeah, y'all stay tuned. I'll keep you guys updated. Alright, you guys, so I've got the pan off and everything. Old pan's right there. I got all the new stuff right here. These are the fittings for the transmission cooler. But yeah, my girl just called and she needs me to come home. So, I mean, it's about dark anyways. So, I'm just going to pick all my stuff up and get all this stuff loaded back in here. And I'm probably going to call it a night. And I'll be back over here tomorrow after I get off work to finish up all this stuff. So, I'll catch you guys tomorrow after I get off work. Alright, y'all, so I've got everything packed up in here. Everything's ready, you know, shut down for the night. So I've got everything I'm taking with me picked up. Everything else is in here. So I'm about to lock this thing down and head to the house. So I'll catch y'all tomorrow after I get off work. Hey, YouTube. Alright, so I'm actually over here today. It's Tuesday. I'm on lunch right now, so I have an hour. And I have plans after work. Skating night with the daughter. So, I gotta try to get this valve body off and get this shift kit installed and get the new filter and pan gasket and pan on in an hour. So, I'm gonna get all this stuff out of the way real quick and get up under here. So, y'all stay tuned. I'll keep you guys updated. Alright, y'all. So, it didn't take very long. Got the valve body off. So, now I just gotta disassemble it. Here's the instructions on how everything goes. So now I just got to pull this apart, put all my springs on there in the order that they're supposed to go, and then pop it back together and throw it back in the car. And I do have to drop the servo because there is a rubber grommet that goes in there. But most all this stuff just goes in here. So, and then you reuse your gasket. So I'm going to clean all this stuff up and spray it down with brake cleaner before it all goes back together so it's nice and clean. And then I believe you're supposed to lube up these O-rings and stuff with trans fluid before you put it back together. So, yep, not too bad. 4265E shift kit. So that's why I've got to get this done right quick and get this thing back in the car and get the new pan and filter and all that on and be good to go for today at least. At least one thing get done. So y'all stay tuned and I'll keep you guys updated. Alright, you guys, so I've got one side already done. So by going off of this, you put your white, your red, and your plain. So I got a white, red, and plain. And then you put your long spacers here, which these are the long spacers. This is the one short spacer. So by looking at this diagram, this is just like that in the picture. So this one gets all 3 springs. This one's supposed to get a white and a plain. Oh, I need to take the red out because I have a red one in there too. And then the long spacer. And then this side also gets a long spacer on the bottom that goes in here on that shaft. And then the short spacer goes on the top. And then on the second gear, when it doesn't get a short spacer at all, and it looks like it doesn't get the red spring, so I need to pull the red spring back out of this one. I don't know why they even included 2 springs. But yeah, making lots of progress. So I just wanted to show you guys how this is done, so, and how it's going. Overall, it seems to be going pretty good. So I'm gonna keep working on this thing and make sure I get this exactly how this is in here, and before I get it all put back together. So y'all stay tuned. I'll keep you guys updated. Alright, you guys, so I've got the valve body back together and got it back in there. So got all my bolts tightened down and just snugged them up with the impacts and just one ugga-dugga clunk. So they're in there. Make sure you get all your lines, hard lines, shoved all the way back in there how they're supposed to be, so your line don't fucking come out once it gets pressure behind it. And so yeah, now I've just gotta throw my new trans filter back in there right there, and then get that new pan gasket on and get it tightened down. So y'all stay tuned. I'm about to get this pan on here, and I'll give you guys another update once I get done. Alright, you guys, so I've got the new filter and pan gasket on. Transgo ship kits in. I got all my bolts just snugged down. They're not tightened or torqued or anything yet, so I just wanted to seal up the pan and seal up the bottom of the trans. So so I got this stuff done. I only got about 10 minutes left of my lunch. I gotta have one more job I gotta go do before I'm done for the day and I can go home. So I'm done with this. I'm gonna pick all my stuff up and get it back in here so I can go do my last job and then go home for the day. So I'll probably be back over here tomorrow, or I'm gonna try to be over here sometime, you know, probably try to be over here every day this week, because it's supposed to be a lot nicer and a lot warmer this week. So yeah, I'm gonna get all this stuff picked up and put back in here, and I'll give you guys another update before I head out. So y'all stay tuned. I'll keep you guys updated. Alright, y'all, so I got off work and I called the machine shop, and the flywheel is done. So they machined 330 thousandths off the face, and then machined it, balanced it, removed all the dowels. It's good to go. So thank you, Save Machine Shop. Y'all are awesome. And he said he's going to do the heads tomorrow, so hopefully the heads will be done tomorrow. And if not, it'll be Thursday. Not a big deal. So but yeah, I just want to give you guys an update. I've got the flywheel for the Grand Am. So, man, the Grand Am, it's the engine and trans is about to be ready to go together, because now I've got the flywheel and it's good to go. So now I can get the clutch kit bolted up and get everything on how it's supposed to go. I'm super happy with this. So awesome Grand Am update. So y'all stay tuned. I'll keep you guys updated. Hey YouTube, alright, so I'm over here at the house. I'm working on the 97. Went and I grabbed the transmission, pan gasket, and the filter, and the pan off the 07. And I've got this up on stands. And I've already got all the bolts on the back side of the pan out. So now I just got to start loosening these front winds and let the pan kind of angle down and drain the fluid out into this pan. And then once I get the fluid out, I'm going to drop this pan because I really just don't like that big ass fucking hole that's leaking. This whole transmission, like everything under here is just nasty, fucking disgusting. But not really much I can do about it, so it's got a nice big dent in the oil pan. Another one right there on the corner. But it's holding. Yeah, I think that oil pan and probably the rear main are probably leaking. But yeah, I'm going to get this transmission pan off, and I'll give you guys an update once I have the pan off and have this thing drained. So y'all stay tuned. I'll keep you guys updated. Alright, y'all. It's a draining. So I still got like 4 or 5 more bolts over here to loosen up. I just started loosening these front winds, and it let that side drop down enough to start draining the pan. So I'm gonna let it do its thing, and I'll give you guys another update. Hey YouTube. Alright, so I got the pan off. It is actually kind of clean in here, so I'm gonna get this filter popped out and probably spray it out with some brake clean. I'm gonna have to run up to Walmart, get a can of brake cleaner or 2, if they even have it, because they're always fucking sold out. But I gotta go get something I can spray this shit out, and I can pop the new filter in, clean up the mounting surface, and get this replacement pan and the new gasket on. So y'all stay tuned. I'll keep you guys updated. Alright, you guys, so I ran up to Walmart and I got me some brake cleaner and some transfix stuff, just an additive shit. I'm gonna automatic transmission repair, bars leak, 2-part. So I don't know, I mean the trans still shifts fine, but I figured that it's got a lot of miles on it, can't hurt. That fluid didn't look great. It was still pretty black. I mean, I've added new fluid to this trans because it's been leaking. So I'm sure that helped. That was a lot of what that red was. But a lot of it still looks pretty fucking dark and nasty. And there's a lot of metal and gunk and black just like all over this filter. Which is how the one out that's in the 07 was originally when I got it from the salvage yard, before I pulled it apart and did the filter and pan gasket the first time. But it's pretty cleaned up, so I'm about to throw this new filter in here and start lining up this transmission pan and getting this thing ready to go back together. So y'all stay tuned, I'll give you another update. Hey YouTube. Okay, so the pan is on. It's all nice and tightened down. I did run into an issue where the bolt holes in the pan, in the new pan, were too small for the bolts. So I had to take a bolt and go to every hole and run it through with the impact and then pull it back out. And I had to do every hole. And then I forgot it's also missing a bolt, so I'm missing one, like right back here somewhere. Where's it at? Where's it at? Oh, right there. Yeah, I'm missing that one. But I went around the whole outer diameter of, like, right on the other side of the lip right there with RTV around the whole pan. And then I went just around the bolt holes, and then I set the gasket on, and then put like 4 bolts in and threaded them through into the gasket to kind of hold them in place and hold the gasket in place, and then set the pan up there and tightened them down to where it kind of seated the pan. And then I just went around and put all the bolts I had in and then snugged them all down, and it's good to go. So I've been letting it set for like the last 10 or 15 minutes, trying to let that RTV cure up. I want to put the fluid in it, but I don't want it to leak. So yeah, so I'm going to add this in here first once I do start adding. And then I've got 2 jugs of new fluid, and that's the jug of old fluid I saved out of the 07, just because it still looked nice and red, and I mean it was like brand new fluid anyways. and I didn't have any issues with that car. So yeah, I've already got my funnel in there. I'm just trying to give it some time to let this RTV cure up. So y'all stay tuned, and I'll keep you guys updated, let you know what is going on. Alright, YouTube, so I've got it running. I have no leaks at all. Nothing. Pan is 100% dry. So yeah, you can go ahead and shift it. It still got, just leaves the e-brake on. Ooh. Ooh. Bouncy! Bouncy! I'm about to blow a couple thousand. Bouncy! Alright, you put it in park.
It's getting better each time.
Check this fluid. Can't really tell. It's still a little low. Adds 1 pint or half a liter. Alright, I'm gonna add some fluid and I'll come back to you guys. Alright, you guys. I got no leaks. Trans is full. So I'm about to go on a little test drive. See how she does. It's still a little kick, but I know it needs mounts. Heater feels so good. It's like 30 degrees. Like the heads-up display, you guys probably can't really read it. Man, it seems to pull a hell of a lot better than it did before. That pulls really good. Oh yeah. Alright. Well, there's the test drive. It drove really, really well. I'm happy with that. I'm very happy with that. So, now, I just want to pop this thing and the button. But yeah, I just wanted to check everything out under here and just make sure everything's good and check my oil. Ooh, smoking. Smoking oil, man, that is fucking hot. Yeah. But, yeah, it pulls really good. I'm super happy with it. So. Alright, you guys. I'll keep you guys updated and let you know how it goes. Hey, YouTube. Okay, so the car's been sitting out here for 2 or 3 hours now in the street. And it's like 12:30 in the morning. And there's not one drop of transmission fluid anywhere on the pan. So, I would say this was a success. And yeah, the car drives way better, pulls way harder than it did before. So I don't know if it was the filter, or it could have been because that line was popped out a little bit of the valve body. And so I shoved that back in there. So that could have been what was up with it, but hell, I mean, it might still need a tad bit more fluid. I still got like half of a gallon jug in the trunk. I just got everything picked up and put up, and so I just wanted to check on it and just make sure it wasn't leaking, and it hasn't leaked a drop. I cannot be more happy with that. So I don't know, maybe I'll daily this thing for a cool minute, because I thought the trans was going, but who knew? And I even used that whole gallon jug of the fluid that I salvaged out of the 07. So it definitely had some clutch material and stuff in it. So in between that fluid, the new fluid, and then that transmission fix stuff, I don't know, hopefully that'll really help this transmission last a while. So, and it's got a new filter, brand new pan gasket. Can't be happier. So that's gonna be it for tonight. I'll probably catch you guys after I get off work tomorrow over at the storage, so I can continue working on the 07 pre. So y'all have a good night, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Hey YouTube. Alright, so it's Thursday. I got off work. It's like 5:30 or so. Came over here to the storage because while I was at work today, this morning, the machine shop called and told me the heads were ready. And so he only charged me $200 to do all the valve seats, machine them down, and I took him a fresh, brand new set of valve seals, so he didn't have to buy anything. All he did was just pull it out. He said he inspected all the valve seats and everything looked good, so he didn't have to do the valve seats or lap the valves or any of that. He said everything was good. So pretty much he just pulled them out, machined the valve seats or the valve guides, put new valve seals on, and threw them back together. So now they're machined all the way down how I need them. So yeah, I'm about to start getting this thing put together. So I'm gonna go grab the Arp Head Studs and go ahead and get those in, and RTV the threads as I put them in and get them all tightened down, so that way I can get the gaskets sprayed with copper spray, so I can slap the gaskets on and then go ahead and get the heads on. And I need to get the lifters and the cam in and all that. So, but man, it's really coming together. So y'all stay tuned, and I will keep you guys updated. Alright YouTube, so I got the block all unwrapped of the plastic. I went and grabbed the head studs, and so now I'm putting RTV on them and going spreading it out with my finger, and then thread them in, tighten it all the way down. So I've got this half almost done. I just got this one and just one more left, and I got to do that side. So it's kind of hard to do. I can't hold the camera and like I need both hands. So I'm going to go ahead and get these done, and then get that side done, and then I'll come back to you guys once I have all these all RTV'd and all snugged all the way down. So y'all stay tuned. I'll keep you guys updated. Alright y'all, so I've got all the Arp Head Studs all threaded in, RTV'd, and ran all the way down with the Allen wrench. Now all of them's all the way in, very minimal mess. All the cylinders are still looking great. Looks amazing, beautiful. So now I've got to really, I could get the cam out, the cam install, cam lube, and go ahead and get the cam put in. Then I can put the lifters and the lifter guides and get that stuff on. I can do the cam front plate. Once the plate is on, I could probably do the timing set and all of that and get the timing all set. Then I can get the heads on and go from there. So yeah, so y'all stay tuned and I'll keep you guys updated. Alright you guys, so I've got the brand new comp cams, XPZ cam in the engine. I use the insulation lube right here. Shit is so thick and gooey, but it's on there. It smells like used supercharger oil. I swear, it does not have a very good smell. Anyway, so this is my cam retainer plate that I used on the that was originally in the original engine with the double roller and all that. So it's already been machined and everything. So it's good to go there. So all I need to do is put a little bit of lube behind here before I put this on, and then I need to Loctite the bolts, which are right there. There's my blue Loctite, and these get torqued down to like 32 inch-pounds or something like that, or like 12 foot-pounds or 16 foot-pounds, something like that. So, but yeah, so I'm about to get this lubed up and get this on here, Loctite my bolts, and get this thing together. So y'all stay tuned. I'll keep you guys updated. Alright y'all, so I've got the cam and the retainer plate in, and now I've got the main drive sprocket for the double roller onto the crankshaft. So now I just gotta get me a rag, get all this gunk off of there. Say this is a very, very tight fit, just as ZZ Performance says. And you have to make sure you line up this this crank key perfectly. And like I had it just over a little bit, and I ended up having to use the hammer and this long screwdriver and just kind of put this up against one tooth like that and give it a nice tap to kind of turn it just a little bit, just enough to get that cam key to line up with that hole. And so how you want to time this is you want your 0 with this at top dead center, which it is. You want your top at 0 in the front one, and then this one off to the side in the very front, right below it. See, that's your first 0. So that one you want the 0 here, right on your cam key. That's set at 0. And then you have to angle your cam key to where it's turned off to the side a little bit, to where whenever you take your chain, and you gotta hook the chain around the bottom and kind of line that up and do it at the same time, and there's no tensioner. And then I got a brand new cam bolt right there from GM cam bolt. There's the packaging over there. So I got a brand spanking new cam bolt for it. I'm gonna make sure I Loctite that down too. And yeah, that's it. And then don't forget to slide the oil pump gear on after you get the timing set on. You just slide your oil pump gear on and line up your dowel with the cam key, or crank key, sorry. And you just line that up in that little slot there, that groove, and boom, that's what turns your oil pump. So yeah, I'm about to get this thrown on here, and I'll give you guys another update once I'm done. Alright y'all, so I've got the timing all on. So see, my 0 is straight up. And looking at the engine, it's straight up. And then I just put a black dot there just because there's normally a 0 on the timing gear itself, and there's not on the double roller for whatever reason. But it's at top dead center. So then you put the crank bolt back in right quick. Alright, so we start out at 0 with our dot in the top dead center. So now we're going to go all the way around until our black dot comes back down, and make sure it lines up with the 0 again, and make sure we're back at top dead center. So there's our black dot and the 0, and there's our top dead center. So we are in time, so everything's good. I've already put the blue thread locker on the cam bolt. I've already got it tightened down. What I did was I put the bolt in just like I did here, and then I took my ratchet and I put it in reverse so I could spin this, try to put pressure, spin this backwards, and then used wherever that big ass crescent, use this big ass crescent because I didn't have a torque wrench, and I made sure not to hit the magnet, so I was probably on backwards like that. But yeah, I would put pressure on this in reverse and put pressure on this going forward so I could tighten that cam bolt down. And so now timing set is good, so it's in time. So now I've got to get the lifters in and the lifter guides, and then I still need to spray those head gaskets with copper spray so I can get the head gaskets on and get the heads on. And then I have just a tiny little bit of oil left in this jug, so I'm going to either use that or I can use the installation lube. The lifters themselves are right there, it's already soaked in oil, so I shouldn't even need any installation lube for those. They should just slide right in down into their homes. So I'm going to keep on going. I also used a Sharpie and I just put a mark on the cam bolt, so if I ever do have a problem with anything and I pull the timing cover off, I can check and make sure that's still lined up to see if my cam bolt's backed out any or not. So that's a good little hack, something you can do just to double check yourself if you ever are worried, or if you pull it off to do a gasket because it's leaking or something and you notice that that's not lined up anymore, you know something's wrong and you need to check that. So, but I'm going to quit rambling on, and I'm going to open up these LS7 lifters and start getting these lifters in here and so I can get this thing put together. So y'all stay tuned and I'll keep you guys updated. Alright you guys, so I've got one head gasket copper coated, and I got the headset on here. I've got all my washers and bolts and everything for the Arp Head Studs on. I lubricated all these with the cam and lifter installation lube, so I haven't done these four down here yet, so I've got to make sure I get a little bit between there for lube so it can have some lube for torquing. Other than that, everything's coming along great. Heads look good. It definitely looks like he machined the bottom of the heads nice and smooth and flat, so man, I cannot be happier. For 200 bucks, I cannot complain at all. So I've got all the lifters and the lifter guides in. They're nice and tight. So, man, it's definitely coming together. I'm stoked. I'm super happy. So, I'm going to keep working on this thing. I just got to torque all these head bolts down, and then I can move on to the other side. So, I'll stay tuned. I'll keep you guys updated. Alright you guys, so I got the first 2 rounds. I got 30 and 60. So now I'm going 90. on the torque. So it's kind of a pain getting this, and so I've tried to rotate my engine over and on the stand, but this bolt here is hitting, so it's not letting me turn it far enough to put the pin back in the hole. So that's only as far as it's letting me go, and then that's hitting, so the head's not straight up and down, and it makes it to where when I'm trying to torque, it's letting the engine twist a little bit. But I'm working on it, so I'm gonna need both hands for this. But I'll give you guys an update here in just a minute, so y'all stay tuned. I'll keep you guys updated. Alright, you guys, so I've got the rear head is on, torqued down. I've got the rockers just bolted back down. I don't have the push rods in yet because I don't have a push rod length checker, and I don't know if the intake or the exhaust valves get which push rod, because it's got 7.00 push rods and 7.050 push rods, and so the exhaust gets one size and the intake gets the other size, and I don't know which one goes where, so I'm not putting the push rods in yet. I'm just getting the heads torqued down and just bolting the rockers back in there and putting the valve covers back on just to keep stuff out of it. And then once I get the heads bolted on, I'm probably just going to grab the lower intake and stuff and just set it on here just to keep dirt and shit out of here. Or I might even just wrap it back in plastic. But definitely have made a lot of progress, and I cannot be happier with the outcome so far. So I'm super stoked. Cannot wait. Man, I hope that's gaskets right in there. Looks like they're pretty straight. I hope I don't have any issues. That one looks like it's a little wonky in there. I guess we'll see. So I put the arrow facing forward. That's forward. But yeah, so y'all stay tuned and I'll keep you guys updated. I'm about to get these washers all on here, get some lube on it, and then get them torqued down 30, 60, 90, just like I did the other head. So y'all stay tuned and I'll keep you updated. Alright, y'all, I've got the front head all nice and torqued down 30, 60, 90. So everything's looking great so far. Now just gotta get the rockers bolted down on there, and then just put the valve cover back on. Like I said, I'm not doing the push rods right now, but I've made a lot of progress today. I'm super happy with how this is turning out. So yeah, now I've just got to get these rockers and this valve cover on, and then I'm probably going to wrap this thing up in plastic and just start getting ready to get everything picked up and start picking up all the tools and kill this light and all that, because it is getting a little late. Not too bad. It's only like probably 7, so maybe 8, 7:38, somewhere in there. But I mean, not bad for a couple hours, 2-3 hours. I made a lot of progress, especially whenever you're trying to take your time and do everything right and do it all correctly the first time and make sure everything's torqued and not forget any steps. So it sucks. The only thing that's holding me up is the push rods. Right now, I don't want to put the wrong push rods in the wrong slot and then fuck something up. So I'm just gonna try to do a little bit more research and see if I can't figure out which ones go where. If anything, I'll email ZZP and wait for them to reply. But yeah, so I'm about to grab these rockers right here and just set them back in place, just tighten them down, get the valve cover back on, and probably just set the lower intake manifold on here. Maybe, I don't know, I might not. I might just wrap it in plastic and just leave it exposed like that. But man, dude, I'm so excited, so stoked. So y'all stay tuned, and I'll keep you guys updated and let you know what I decide to do. Alright, you guys, so I've got the front timing cover on, I got the crank sensor and this plastic piece on, got the harmonic balancer on, swapped out my oil filter because the old one was, it's already used, it was used on the old engine, so I just went ahead and swapped it out. But I've made a shit ton of progress. I'm really happy with the way it's coming out. So on my extra thick timing cover, I put RTV on the back side of it and then stuck the gasket on, and then put more RTV on the front of it and then stuck the timing cover on. I've still got to find the 4 bolts for the small bolts for the water pump. They're in the pulley, which I think is in this black and white box thing over there on the other side of that blue chair. There's that big old black and white chest that opens up, and I've got a bunch of parts for this car. As I was taking off, I was stacking everything in there. But shoot, I'm super excited. So made a lot of progress today. I'm gonna go ahead and probably just wrap this engine up with plastic because I still haven't got the new gasket for the oil pickup tube yet, right here. So I still got the oil pickup tube sitting right over there with the bolts. Hopefully the gasket will be here tomorrow. It might be here Saturday, so I don't know, we'll just have to wait and see what's up. But like I said, so far I'm super happy with the progress on everything. I cannot wait to get this thing back in the car and running and drive this thing again. I'm just stoked, super stoked. So I still have to get the fuel logs to be able to run the intercooler. So even once I get this thing back in and bolt it back up to the trans and everything, get everything hooked up, I'm still gonna have to have fuel logs. I can't even start it. And then I'm still gonna have to have the car tuned because I've already sold the 42.5 pound injectors and I've got 80s. And the car's still tuned for 42.5, and it's still tuned for 91, and now I'm going to E85. So, I mean, there's still a long ways to go before this thing's just done and running and driving. Because I still got to pull the front bumper off, I've got to get the heat exchanger mounted, I've got to put the black bumper on, I've got to drop the fuel tank, change the fuel pump. I've still got to drop the subframe to change the steering rack. I've still got all the rear suspension arms that go across. And I've still got to swap the downpipe. I mean, and that's the NIC cam. That's the old cam. That's my rear cover gasket. Yeah, that's all pretty much afterwards, after the engine's installed, except for these couple pieces, the wires and the oil pan, the EGR valve. That's my 80-pound injectors. But shit, I'm super excited. It is definitely coming along. There's my new oil filter I just put on. There's my reusable rocker bolts. So once I actually get the push rods in and go to torque them down, I'm going to put these in for the rockers and use the ZZP rocker bolts instead of those factory ones that are in there. But shoot, I'm super excited. I've made a shit ton of progress, but I've still got a long ways to go before the car's done. But hey, at least I was able to get the time to come over here and get some shit done today. So I made a lot of progress, so I'm just going to go ahead and get this thing wrapped up with plastic and push it over to the side and start getting all my shit picked up like I said I was almost an hour ago. But I wanted to get this thing sealed up as best I could, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap this thing up, and I'll give you guys another update before I head to the house, so y'all stay tuned. Alright, you guys, so I've got the engine all wrapped up in plastic. Just trying to keep it as sealed up as I can. So I know it's not perfect, so I'm just trying to keep the moisture and shit out of there so it doesn't flash rust or anything on that bare metal spots. But really the only thing that's still open is the bottom, the top, and then that back plate back there. So I don't know, I've made a lot of progress today. I'm happy with the progress. So tomorrow after I get off work, I'm supposed to be going to get a set of 20s for 250 bucks, and one of them needs a tire, and I have another tire in the Grand Am storage. And these, all 4 of the valve stems are bad, and my tires go low like every couple days. I gotta air up the tires, and it's getting super annoying. So these 20s are really nice. They're all chrome. They have all the center caps. All the 3 tires that are good all look fucking brand new pretty much. They're phenomenal tread. And the one spare that I have for this is over in the Grand Am storage, and like it's a really good tread tire also. So that'll give me 4 really good tires, and I'll just have to have the one put on and have it balanced. The other 3 he said are balanced and good to go. And so yeah, I'm probably going to get those and throw those on here on the 97 for a little while. And then once I get this done and I start driving this, I'll probably take these chrome 20s and put them on my girl's car, because once I start driving this, I'm going to end up putting the 97 in here and pulling the engine out for the Grand Am. And this engine that's in here now is going to end up getting that NIC cam. And I'm going to have to get another double roller and another set of LS7 lifters and some more valve springs, the upgraded valve springs, and probably another set of injectors. So I mean, I still got a lot of shit I'm gonna have to do for that, but like that is a project I want to get done, and I've been working on that one the longest. But at least now I have the flywheel back, the clutch bolts up to it and everything. So now I just got to get that engine off the engine stand, get the flex plate off so I can bolt the flywheel on and get it blue Loctited on and torque down, and then I'll be able to bolt up the clutch, get everything good, get the transmission on there. And then it'll just be getting the subframe out of the parts Grand Am and getting it over here. And then I'll actually be able to take the engine and transmission with mounts and everything is set on there and see exactly how it's going to fit up and what all I need to do to make it work. So, yeah, lots of progress I need to get done on that. I'm going to have to order a bunch of shit. But since this is pretty much almost complete now, then I think I'm just going to focus on this, and the next major parts that I buy for either one of the cars will be the fuel logs for this thing. Because that's literally like one of the last things I need, besides just like hose for the intercooler going to the pump and the water, and they got this water wetter. So my buddy Dave was telling me about using water wetter for the intercooler. So I was thinking about doing that. Adding some probably red food coloring into it or something just to make it red to match the car. I definitely want to power wash all this. I want to, when I drop the subframe to do the steering rack, all this is going to get power washed and scrubbed and cleaned just like the 06's subframe did. And I still need to get that downpipe off. Like, there's still a lot of stuff to do on this. But I'm going to try to keep working on both and still doing everyone else's cars and doing side jobs and everything else, trying to get everything done. But yeah, I'm gonna definitely keep trying to get over here at least 2 or 3 times a week. Like, it used to be every day, and now I'm with my girl and her daughter and everything. Now it's I don't have as much time, so but I'm trying to keep content coming for you guys. I appreciate you guys watching and liking and commenting and subscribing. Can't believe I'm already up to 91 subscribers, and it's been like a year since I've been YouTubing. I'm almost at 100 subscribers. So, I mean, I'm really happy with that. So, thanks everyone who subscribed, and thanks to everyone that watches the videos and comments and shares. And I really appreciate it. I really cannot wait to see all this on that thing and the belt on, and just like, yeah, it's coming together so quick. But yeah, thanks to all you guys. I really appreciate it. So yeah, y'all stay tuned. I got everything picked up, so I'm about to head to the house and probably go eat some dinner and take a shower and change clothes. And I'll catch you guys back over here hopefully tomorrow after I get off work. So y'all have a good night and stay tuned. and I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Hey YouTube. Alright, so it's Friday. It's about 5 o'clock. So I was over here yesterday. I got a lot of the engine put together. I made a shit ton of progress. So my holdup is still the push rods. I've emailed ZZP. I've asked all the guys on Facebook in the groups that have had the XPZ cam, and just nobody seems to remember or know which of the push rods go, you know, on the intake and the exhaust side, whether it's the 7.000 or 7.050s. Just nobody knows. So right now I'm kind of on a standstill on the push rods. I can still get the lower intake manifold and all that put on, and so my gasket for the oil pickup tube got delivered today, so it's at the house, but I haven't made it over there yet. And so today while I was at work, I met up with the guy on Facebook, and I got me some new wheels for the 97 for now. And there's the other one over there. So that one's going on the driver front, this one's going on the passenger front, and this one's going on the passenger rear, because this is the nicer side of the car. It has all its trim. So I'm putting the two nicer wheels on the passenger side. And then this wheel, like, it still holds air, but it's got a knot in it somewhere. Yeah, that's right there. It's got a big chunk missing, and it's bald, and it's got some strings showing, and I think it's separating. And so I have this other tire here, so I just got to get that tire swapped around. So I'm just going to leave this one off, and I'm just going to leave this tire on there for now. And it's funny because this is the one that loses air the least out of all four of these wheels, and that's the one I have to leave on there, or no, on the other side. So I guess I'll end up putting this one on the driver rear until I get this tire swapped over. But yeah, I got these for 250 bucks, and like two of them have like brand spanking new tires, so I'm putting those two on the front. And yeah, it's coming along. I'm pretty happy with it. So I'm gonna get these wheels and tires swapped around. Well, the three that I'm putting on of the 20s, and then I'm gonna load this one with the other tire up in the trunk. And yeah, it's gonna be fun. So I will give you guys an update as I'm getting this stuff done. I gotta get this jack and four-way and stuff and the impact out of the trunk. So y'all stay tuned. I'll keep you guys updated. Alright y'all, so I've got the two wheels on the passenger side. Everything's tight. Got the tires aired up. And I've got the one on the front on the driver's side. And then I just gotta hold off on the other one because that's the one that I'm pretty sure it's separated, because whenever I just stand it straight up, it just wants to fall forward. So, and it's crazy because it even like slants down this way. Up there above that hump, it slants down that way, but over here it slants down, and it still wants to fall towards the car. It's crazy, but it is what it is. I like the chrome wheels. I think they look really nice. Makes the car look way better. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this jack put back in the trunk, and probably just gonna stack these in the storage, or maybe in the Grand Am storage, because I got more room over there. And yeah, and then I'll just keep the one on the rear for now until I get this swapped around. And once I get that tire put on that other wheel, I'll get it put on the car. But man, I mean, other than just a little bit of pitting, and one of them, I don't remember which one. So one of them has a little bit of peeling, like on the lip. No, it's got to be the one on this side. So it's the one on the driver front. Yeah, there's some right there, and some right there. But still, I mean, a little bit of bubbling right there. But I mean, they're still in pretty good condition, and all of them had the center caps. And like I said, two of them had like brand new tires, so I can't really, I mean, 250 bucks, like the two tires is worth 200. And then this tire is not bad. Like, it's still a decent tire, and then the tire I have to go with it is a really good, decent tire. Lots of tread left. So, and they're the exact same size. Like, that tire is the exact same size as all these. So, I don't know. It's like it was just meant to be. So, I got a great deal on them. And the guy held them for me since, like, Monday or Tuesday. He's been holding them. And so I finally, he hit me up this morning while we was at work, and I was like, man, I'm in the work truck, and, you know, we're at 91st and Memorial, and he's like, well, I'm in Bixby at 151st, so I'll just come to you. And so he just came right to our job site that we was working at, and I just went over and talked to him, looked at the wheels, decided I wanted them, gave him the money, and we just threw him in the bed of the work truck and brought him over here and dropped him off. But yeah, I'm really digging them. I like them a lot. So I'm probably going to pick this stuff back up, get the jack put back up. I'm just going to wait on this stuff until, I don't know, maybe tomorrow, might be Sunday, because there's a chance of snow tonight. And if it snows, then this is going to be, like, I ain't even going to be able to get in here and open the door. Let alone be out here freezing my ass off in 19-degree weather trying to work on this shit. I mean, don't get me wrong, I want to get this thing put together, but I can't get the pickup tube on until I get the gasket, and I'm not going to drive all the way home, because then my daughter is going to want me to hang out and listen to how her day was, and she's going to want to play, or she's going to want to come with me. And so I know as soon as I get there, it's family time, so yeah, might be tomorrow, might be Sunday. But I am going to get back over here with that new gasket, and I'll get the oil pickup tube on and tighten down, and then I can get the pan with the new gasket on, and it's game over from there. So then it's just the lower intake manifold and the supercharger and injectors and fuel rail, which I still don't have the fuel log, so that's going to be bare for a little bit. But man, she's really coming together. I'm super excited. So, yeah, I think that's going to be it for right now. So let me get all this shit picked up, and I'll holler at you guys before I'm heading out. So y'all stay tuned. Hey, YouTube. Well, I was going to go over to my storage today. It's Saturday, and it started fucking snowing. I did get the new oil pickup tube gasket, so I have it in the car. But I can't really go do anything because it's snowing. I can't really get anything done over at my storage without pulling all the tools and everything out and being able to get to the engine and actually work on it. So, probably not going to get anything done this weekend, which kind of sucks ass. But, just want to give you guys another update. Snowing. Fucking snow, man. But, I really dig the new wheels. They ride pretty good. Definitely need to get them balanced. But not that bad. It was a good deal for the money. So, hey YouTube. All right, so it's Sunday, the 16th. So I made it over here to my storage. It snowed like a motherfucker yesterday. Man, it warmed up today. So I went and took my daughter over to her grandma's so she could play with her cousins for the day while her mom's at work. So I come over here to get some stuff done on this. So I got my new oil pickup tube gasket for the oil pickup tube. So now I just got to get this thing unwrapped, get the plastic off of it, and go ahead and get that oil pickup tube on and get the oil pan bolted on. And then I also found out, so the 7.050 push rods go on the intake valves in the heads, because they said that the cam lobe has a slightly smaller intake lobe on the XPZ, so that's why it requires a longer push rod. So now I know which push rods go where. So now I've got to just, once I get the pickup tube and the pan on with the new gasket and all that, then I'll pop these valve covers back off and pop the rockers out, and I'll go ahead and get those push rods installed. And so the way that ZZP said to do it is to rotate your engine to where the cylinder is at top dead center, or where the piston is all the way up to the bottom of the head, pretty much at the top of the cylinder. So that way the valves will be closed, and then you're not having to tighten down the push rods, you know, on the rocker while it's opening the, you know, making it open the valve. So that's how I'm going to do it. So I got some that assembly lube. They said I could just put some assembly lube on the bottom of each one of the push rods and at the top before I throw the rockers on. So that's how I'm going to do it. I'm probably going to throw a little RTV on the pickup tube and then stick the gasket on, and then put a little more RTV on there, and then put it to the block and tighten it down, and then I'll just wipe away whatever excess there is. But yeah, so I'm gonna quit rambling on, and I'm gonna get this cleaned off and get this unwrapped so I can start getting that oil pickup tube bolted on. So y'all stay tuned, I'll keep you guys updated. Alright, you guys, so I got the oil pickup tube installed, and then I opened the box to pull out the oil pan gasket, and it had a front seal and a rear seal, and the front and rear covers, the oil filter housing gasket, and I don't think that's the oil pickup tube. I think that's the same gaskets they sent me that's in that kit. A water pump gasket, but yeah, there was a whole lot of other gaskets and some more thing of RTV. So yeah, there was a lot more than just the oil pan gasket in there, which I did not know that. I was not aware of that. But it's okay, so I'm gonna test fit this oil pan gasket on here with that new oil pan and see if I can't get this thing put together. So y'all stay tuned, I'll keep you guys updated. Alright, YouTube, so got my oil pan on with the new gasket. Put some RTV on there too, just to be double sealed. I still got to put the rear cover on with the new metal gasket, but I'm probably going to have to pull the engine off the stands to do that, and I ain't doing that right now. So I guess next I'm going to pull these valve covers off and start getting the push rods installed. They're up there on that yellow box, and then also have a brand new set of valve cover gaskets, because these are the ones that, like, they were new when I put them on the 06, but they've been sitting for a while. They're not new. I have brand new ones, might as well put brand new ones on. So I'm gonna get the new valve covers on and get the push rods in and get the rockers torqued down. Hopefully all goes well. So y'all stay tuned, I'll keep you guys updated. Alright y'all, so I've got the front side of the engine. I've got the push rods all in, and I got the rockers on. So they're all on there. I got a couple are compressed. So now I'm just gonna swivel this over, get the rear cover off, and get the rear ones in, and keep spinning it over. So but yeah, it's coming along, it's getting there. So y'all stay tuned, I'll keep you guys updated. Alright y'all, so I've got all my push rods in, got all the rockers in, everything's tight. Not getting anything holding it up. So I think seems to be working pretty well. So I guess all that's left now is to throw the spark plugs back in and see how good the compression is. So yeah, I'm excited, making a lot of progress on this thing. It's looking good, looking very good. One thing I do need is I need to go get some oil so I can fill this thing up with oil, so that way it's actually pumping oil through it. But man, made a lot of progress. So I do still have to get the rear cover on also before I can pump oil, but looky there, it's picked up something because it's coming out the oiling holes there. It's running down the back side of the block a little bit, and that's okay. That is perfectly fine. But yeah, I'm gonna keep working on this thing. I'm about to swap out these valve cover gaskets and the little grommets and get this thing, get these valve covers back on here. And I don't know, I might even grab the power logs, the GTP power logs and ceramic crossover. I might not do the crossover just yet, but I definitely want to see what this thing looks like with the manifolds on it. Love the look of those new headers. But man, I'm loving it. It's turning out great. So yeah, y'all stay tuned. I'll keep you guys updated. Alright, you guys. There we go. Oh yeah, sounds like it has pretty good compression to me. Alright y'all, so now I'm just gonna get these valve cover gaskets swapped out. I already changed the gasket on that one right there. You see the old one next to it. So I still gotta swap the one for the front. And the valve covers can go back on. I do still have to swap the grommets, but that's not anything. So I'm gonna get this rear valve cover on here and swap those grommets around and get it tightened down. And then get the front one on. And then after that, I don't know what I'm gonna do yet. I don't have the gasket, the lower intake manifold gaskets for here that go on the heads. I have an old used set, but I wanna get a new set. So it's like 40 bucks for all four of the lower intake manifold gaskets. So yeah, I'm gonna have to wait for the lower intake manifold gaskets to come in, but other than that, yeah, I can get most of this put back together. If anything, I can get the alternator bracket bolted on and the EGR bolted on and front coil bracket bolted on. There's still a lot of stuff I can get done on this thing. So y'all stay tuned. I'll keep you guys updated. Alright, you guys. So I got the valve covers on. Things looking good. So yeah, not very much left to go. Now it's just going to be the lower intake manifold, which I can't put on because I don't have the gaskets for it, and then the supercharger and, you know, all that stuff. I do still need to get the bolts for here and the one on the bottom, which they're over there beside the 07 between the car and the wall. There's a black and white box back there, and it's got a lot of the stuff that I was pulling off in it whenever I pulled the engine and tore the engine apart. I put a lot of stuff in there, so I'm gonna have to make room and get back in there to be able to get to all the other parts I need. I'm pretty sure all my exhaust studs are in there for the exhaust manifolds, the water pump pulley with the bolts, and I could probably put the AC compressor on. I could probably put the coil pack bracket on. But yeah, I made a lot of progress today. I'm very happy with the progress. So you guys stay tuned, and I'll keep you guys updated and let you know what I figure or what I think I'm gonna end up doing next. So y'all stay tuned. Alright y'all, so I'm making a little bit of progress. I've got the front ZZP power log on. It's all bolted down. It's good to go. I was having a little bit of an issue with I was having a little bit of an issue right in here where the head stud is actually hitting the exhaust manifold. And I was having the same issue on the rear in the same freaking spot. So I don't know if it's just because these head studs are sticking out a little bit too far. Maybe I didn't get them all the way seated down in there. I thought I did. I got them as tight as I could get them to go. But I don't know, it's just It's a little tad bit too long, so I tried to tighten them down some more, but with the heads being torqued, it's just not happening. So I'm calling it good. It's on there, it's all flush. So now I just got to get this rear one, and shoot, other than that, it's coming along really well. So yeah, I've just got to get this rear one on. It's a nice, beautiful piece. Look at that. Just looks gorgeous. Work of art, man. But yeah, that's my only issue with it, is whenever I slide this on here, and I go to line up my gasket, it's hitting right there on that stud, right down here. And so that's my only issue. So I'm probably gonna have to grind a little bit of the manifold right there just for some clearance, but it's not a big deal, no worries at all. So I've got my grinder, so it's just part of the process sometimes. I mean, normally everything just bolts right on in a perfect world, and I mean, it pretty much does if my stud wasn't sticking up as high. See how that one's way further down? I don't know how these are all still sticking way out and not that far down, but it is what it is, I guess. So yeah, y'all stay tuned and I'll keep you guys updated. I'm gonna try to clearance that rear manifold a little bit so I can get it to fit on here, and I'll give you guys another update. So y'all stay tuned and keep you guys updated. Alright, YouTube. Okay, so I still don't have the lower intake manifold gaskets between the heads and the lower intake manifold. I just have these here on each side, but I just wanted to kind of test fit everything and see how it's going to look. And so this is it. So I did have the alternator bracket on. I took it back off, and the EGR tube and everything. Took all that back off, put it back in the trunk. But man, it's fitting pretty well. I know I'm not going to be able to use a metal gasket. I'm going to have to get another garlock like this one. Probably just buy 2 of them and have this one as a backup. Man, the metal gasket was off that one, but, or actually this garlock gasket down here is what I had on that, and the metal gasket was what I was running on this originally. That was the brand new one, and so that's still a good gasket, but I'm just not going to be able to use it with the intercooler. So that's going to either go back with that shit, or it's going to go on the Grand Am engine, which I'm pretty sure that one has a brand new garlock gasket on it as well. But man, this thing's looking pretty good. I'm really excited. It's coming together. So I've still got to get the rear cover and the gasket on, but it is what it is for tonight. I just want to give you guys another little update, show you the progress. So I couldn't really make too much more progress on it because of not having the gaskets, so there wasn't really a whole lot more I could do. So I just decided to test fit some stuff. I don't even have the bolts in here. The lower intake's not bolted down, but that just kind of seals up the engine. So I might throw a couple bolts in there just to hold all this top end together, because it's not gonna, I don't think it'll come off, that lower intake manifold will come off very easily. So yeah, this is pretty much what it's going to look like. I'm pretty excited and pretty happy about it. Finally making some progress on this thing. So I know one thing that I am going to have to do, man. Alright, so one thing I am going to have to do is, it looks like I'm going to have to get some shorter bolts, or cut a few threads off of this, because the bolt is just screwed in and it's hitting the intercooler. That one doesn't protrude, but that one does. So I'm gonna have to fix that so this will sit level and flush. But that's cool. This is just part of figuring stuff out. I'm still gonna tear this supercharger back apart and clean it up and repaint it because it has been sitting for a while and it's pretty dirty. I already did the coupler and the oil and all that on this thing like a year ago, and it only seen like 20 or 30,000 miles, so there's no play at all. It's nice. So there's the 2.9. So that's what I'm going to be running with the 80s. I still got to get some fuel logs so I can get the injectors mounted, and then I'll just have to run a hose over this somewhere, or maybe back over here. And then I'm going to have the ceramic crossover pipe right there. I'm still going to run the EGR for now. I mean, it is going to go on E85, and I don't know, I might just buy the block off plate and just block this off and block it off on the rear power log right there. So I don't know, I did paint that one up, but I guess I've still got to send the computer back to Daniel Smuts to have him retune it for the 80-pound injectors and the E85 and the intercooler and the 2.9 pulley. So I mean, I'm gonna have to retune it anyways, so I could always have him just tune out the EGR, and then that way I won't pop a code for the EGR valve. And this thing should shit and get, so I'm pretty happy with the progress today. I'm probably just going to throw a couple bolts in, the longer bolts in the supercharger, just to kind of hold it together so it doesn't fall over. And I'm probably just going to pick stuff up and probably just go pick up my daughter and spend the rest of the night with her until my girl gets off work. So appreciate you guys watching. Throw me down a comment down in the comment section below, and let me know what you think of the build so far, and let me know if you think I should do anything different. This does have a brand new 180 thermostat in there. But yeah, I mean, just let me know what you think, and any pointers would be awesome. So y'all have a good night. Like, comment, subscribe, stay tuned for more, and I'll catch you next time. Alright y'all, so I got a little bit more on here. I'm just kind of mocking everything up. I got the supercharger bolted down with the intercooler, and so these are the longer bolts. They are I don't even know what size, but I just went through my Allen wrenches and I found an Allen wrench that fit them. I got them all nice and snug down, so can't be any happier right now. I mean, I guess I could if I would have had the lower intake manifold gaskets. Then I could actually just bolted it all and torqued it down and had it together, but oh well, it is what it is. I'm still very happy with the progress that I made, and I do still want to repaint the supercharger and get it looking nice and, you know, as good a red as all the rest of it. It's all scratched up back here, but man, it looks really good. I'm really digging it. So I do still have to grind out that spot on the rear power log. I couldn't find my grinder, so I guess it's at the house in the shed or in the 06. So yeah, I couldn't grind that down, so I wasn't able to get it bolted on. But it's okay. It's not a big deal. I made a shit ton of progress today, and I'm fucking super stoked. So not even tripping on that. But yeah, I guess this is going to be the end of this video. So now like, comment, subscribe. Stay tuned for more content. And let me know what you guys think of the build. So y'all have a good night, and I'll catch you on the next one.